Okay, good morning, grade 4. So today we'll have a lesson on lesson 5, updating knowledge the fast way. Okay, for today's lesson or for lesson 5, we will discuss 3 sub-lessons. Okay, those are recognizing words with the voiced TH as in then and the voiceless TH as in thin. We also have using examples as context clues and drawing conclusions and generalizations. Okay, so first off, let's discuss recognizing words with the voiced TH as in then and the voiceless TH as in thin. Okay, so one of the most difficult sounds in English for non-native speakers is the voiced TH as in then and the voiceless TH as in thin. Okay, I will show you a table of example words. Okay, so first table, and we will figure out which table has the voice TH as in then and the voiceless TH as in thin. Okay, so first table is, let me read the following words. Thin, 3, bath, both. And we have 10, 3, bath, boat. Okay, without the H. Next table sounds like this. There, then, they, breathe. Without the sound H, it will sound as there, then, they, breathe. Okay. So which one has sounds as the voice TH as in then, and which table sounds the voiceless TH as in thin? Okay. So this one sounds the voiceless TH, and this one sounds the voice TH. Okay. So were you able to note the difference of the sounds in the words on the screen? All right. Okay. So for the voiceless TH, it's when you read the word thin, 3, bath, and both, it is like you are biting your tongue. Okay, so thin, 3, bath, and both. Okay, so and it sounds as it sounds as you are really voicing the TH. Okay, with the hint of the sound H in it. Okay. For the voice TH as in then, you read it as there. Okay. Notice my tongue or my mouth when I'm reading the words. There, then, they, breathe. Okay. You are still biting your tongue, but the TH sounds more like a sound of D, the. Okay. The, there, then, they, breathe. Okay. So as you can see here, it has the letter D here, D, D, and D, because that is how it sounds like. Sounds as the voice TH sounds as if you are sounding out the sound of letter D. Okay. For the voiceless TH, it sounds as if you are just sounding out letter T. Thin, 3, bath, both. There, then, they, breathe. Okay. Next lesson is about using examples as context clues. Okay. Some context clues to the meaning of an unfamiliar word in a sentence are examples. Okay. Expressions that go with examples are like, such as, for example, and others. So if you see a sentence that have a sentence that has these expressions like, such, for example, and others, okay, you know already that after that those expressions follows or listed the examples of the unfamiliar word. Okay, let me break it down to you with this example. Example, websites have addresses that end in different domain extensions, depending on the topic, like .com for commercial websites, .net for networks, .org for organizations, and .edu for schools and universities. So what is the meaning of the word domain extension? So this is our unfamiliar word or difficult word. Okay, so what are the examples listed? Okay, so the example listed for domain extensions are .com for commercial websites, .net, .org, and .edu. Okay, how did we know that? Because it was found after the expression like. Okay. Another example, operating system versions refer to the different variants created through the years, like XP, Windows 7, or Windows 8. Okay, so I'll show you different kinds of meaning, and we'll figure out together which meaning matches the unfamiliar word, which is versions. Forms, sources, or types. So what is the meaning of versions? Okay, so in the sentence, the examples of operating system versions were listed. Okay, so here are the examples: XP, Windows 7, or Windows 8. How were we able to spot it in the sentence? Because it was after the expression like. Okay, so now we know that versions is the different types of versions. It means different types. Okay, so for this, different types of operating system, which are XP, Windows 7, or Windows 8. Okay. Lastly, our last lesson for today is about drawing conclusions and generalizations. Okay. So here I will show you steps that you need to follow to be able to draw conclusions. Okay, so first, you have to read the selection and identify the main idea and supporting details. Okay, you also have to identify the key issues for resolve. And then you infer and predict possible implications or repercussions of the issue or phenomenon based on the surrounding details. Okay, the key is to keep asking yourself why such is such, or how such is such, until no more whys and ifs surface, or no more what ifs, no more whys occur. Okay, until there is a dead end. Okay, you keep on asking until there is a dead end. That's it. Okay, next, you put together your inferences, verify them for corrections and validity. Then lastly, you formulate judgment or decision based on the verified information. So some of the words that signal generalizations are all, always, everyone, few, generally, in general, many, most, never, none, overall, seldom, some, sometimes, usually. Okay, what do we mean first by generalization? Okay, it's the universal proposition based on particular facts. Okay. For examples of generalization, all crows are black. So this is a generalization because the person talking about crows saying that all crows are black, generalizing it, making it his opinion or what he thought was fact. He's putting it, making it like a universal truth. Okay, so but the fact is you don't know if all crows are black. Maybe there are crows that are gray or another color, brown. Okay, so okay. And another one, some classes in the intermediate department can be challenging. So a generalization because it was the word some was used and it's making it a universal fact that based on this person's experience in the intermediate, being the student in intermediate department, her or his experience there, experiencing classes that are hard or challenging, making it a universal fact that all classes or some classes is challenging already. Okay, but it might not be true for some, right? Okay, so conclusions and generalizations may not be stated directly in a selection. Both require an integral application of one's ability to identify main ideas and their supporting details, make inferences and predictions, compare and contrast qualities, and summarize ideas. Example, some parents are worried that the children might be getting wrong information from the internet. Information overload may also divert children's attention to other sites, putting their real purpose in oblivion. Okay. So first, we have to, based on the steps, to be able to draw the conclusions, first we have to, we're done reading the selection, okay? Next, we have to identify the main idea and supporting details. So the main idea for this is that parents are worried about their children using the internet. That is the main idea, okay? How did we come up with that main idea? Here are the supporting details. Because their children might get wrong information from the internet, your parents might get worried, right? Okay, there is information overload in the internet. Children's attention may be diverted to other sites, putting their real purpose in oblivion. Okay, putting their real purpose in oblivion. Okay, so and also putting themselves in danger. So parents are worried that by their children using internet, it can harm them in some way, okay? And next, after identifying the main idea and supporting details, we have to identify the key issues for resolve. Okay, and then we have to infer and predict possible implications or repercussions of the issue or phenomenon based on the surrounding details. So here are some inferences or predictions about the selection. Pupils use the internet to get information for assignments. That's correct, right? They spend most of their free time surfing the internet, right? That's true because sometimes not even, you don't even use it for assignments. They don't just use it for assignments, but you also surf the net for to use Facebook or watch a video on YouTube, okay? Okay, so after all that, therefore, the possible conclusion, and generalization are as follows. So after all identifying all that, you will get to draw the conclusion. This is a possible conclusion for this selection. The use of internet by pupils may be beneficial or harmful. That's correct. Okay. It may benefit you as a student to get information for your schoolwork, but it can also harm you in a way. Maybe you accidentally go to a site, a dangerous site that can put virus in your computer and you can't use it anymore, something like that. And this is a possible generalization. The internet can only be useful and productive when you use it properly and responsibly. Okay. So that's it for today. These are your assigned tasks. So you will have just one set work, which is about recognizing word with the voice TH as in then and the voiceless TH as in thin. That is on page 283, exercise 1. Okay, take a picture and attach in seat work number 2 under 3Q week 5. And for your homework, that is about using examples as context clues that can be found on pages 282 to 285, exercise 2. Take a picture of that and then attach in homework number 1 under 3Q week 5. Okay, so for your advanced work, wait for me to upload it or post it on maybe Thursday or Friday. Okay, that is that you will be able to see it at 3Q week 6. Okay. Okay, so that's it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.